Where am I? What's going on? Am I drugged? Let's grab a blanket, turn off your lights for true scary, drugged, and confused horror stories from Reddit. I was drugged by two men. When I was 21 years old, I used to go bar hopping as college kids often do. It was a fun way to take the edge off of school. Now, one night, it was freezing in the middle of March, and me and my friends took a nice Uber and landed in the middle of downtown. We started the night off at a popular bar, this place lined with stone in the rickety basement of an old hotel. I've never been married to alcohol, but I drank my fair share in my lifetime. I kicked it off with a light dessert drink, one White Russian. My friends grabbed the table while I still waited at the bar for my drink. The bar was packed on this night, throngs of people, murmurs at tables, lots of chattering. Faces became blurry in the mix. As I was seated, two men came up and sat right next to me so that I would be between them. From what I remember, one man had a beard and sort of a familiar face to me, like someone I'd passed on the streets of my hometown before I was from the town. The other was very blonde, slender, hawkish. His eyes seemed to move constantly, surveilling his surroundings. The bearded man struck up a conversation with me and asked for my name. We chatted briefly and lightly of some mundane things, where we'd gone to school, what we were up to now. We looked at each other as when we talked. I found out he'd gone to the same high school as me, but a decade earlier. He seemed concerned I was only 21 years old. His brow furrowed when I mentioned my age, and then the blonde man flirted with me, wrapped an arm around me and leaned in super close so that I could smell his breath, reeking furiously of alcohol. He had a slight accent, Russian, maybe? I begged off somehow, turned around to plead with my friends who were laughing and engaged with each other and aware of none of what was happening to me. Then I grabbed my drink, forced myself away from them, nonchalantly sipped and sat back at the table with my friends. I noticed both of them had turned to stare right at me, so I looked away. I didn't think too much of the men's aggressive flirting or how I'd been nearly trapped between those two. I reasoned that's what you get when you go out. You get flirted with. It goes with the territory. About 20 minutes later, we agreed to part the bar. I scanned the crowd to see if the two men were still there as I was leaving, and I don't see them. Exactly a half hour following my one drink, my vision began getting blurry. As we turned a corner to go to the next bar, my ears felt hot and my eyes began tearing up. Then an immediate sickness hit, waves of nausea, lightheadedness. I ran into the bathroom of a dive bar and vomited profusely into the toilet inside there. I remember feeling angry, confused, sadness, and then the night dips out for me. I know I wasn't unconscious, but there was a long gap in my memory. My friends apparently called it a night, seeing how sick I was, then wrapped me in a coat and we took an Uber back to their apartment. I slept there for 14 hours. Awakening late the next morning, I don't even remember sleeping. It was like a long interlude of death. Reflecting back on this whole situation, I'm pretty certain I was drugged by those two men. They saw me alone at a bar and they exploited my vulnerability. I've never had the same effects from drinking as I did that night, even as I got blackout drunk before. This was a profoundly different feeling than my typical sickness from alcohol. I don't remember the name of the bearded guy, sadly, and I've never seen either of them since. So, those two men, let's never ever meet again, and screw you for scaring me away from something that was once enjoyable for me. My partner's friend stole her cell phone. I never thought I had anything to do with this post, but here I go. This literally just happened, so I'll try to keep this as short and organized as possible. But I apologize if it's neither of those two things. I'm a 29-year-old female, and my partner is a 23-year-old female. We are back in her hometown visiting her family for about a week. It is a very small, isolated town in the middle of nowhere and basically in the middle of the woods. While we were here, she wanted to meet up with an old high school friend who still lives inside of the area. We'll call him Kyle. So we meet Kyle at the beach, and right away he's acting super weird, making jokes of us having a three-way and just making a bunch of unwelcome, overly sexual, gross comments about us. Obviously, we're unfortunately used this stuff to a certain extent, but coming from someone who was supposed to be her good friend, it was extra annoying. So me and my girlfriend are shooting each other panic looks the whole friggin' time. Once he's out of earshot for a second, she says she's very sorry, that he's never been like this before. We can make an excuse to just leave. When he comes back, we tell him we want to go to dinner at a local bar, but he asked to join us. We felt awkward, so we end up saying yes. He says he doesn't know quite how to get there, so he follows us. We get there, order drinks and food, and then head out to the patio with the drinks. He makes a few more gross comments, but is generally being way more cool and normal than he was at the beach. We're smoking weed on the patio and just chilling. The food comes quick and we finish it quicker. Now here's where it gets really messed up. So halfway through my first drink, I'm getting really tired, which makes sense as we've been having a long day. I give my girlfriend the signal that I want to go. She makes an excuse that we need to go. He keeps trying to get us to come to his house. I've got good weed and dabs there and you can meet my cats, blah, 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 blah. He's being really pushy. We keep saying no and making excuses. We need to check on her grandpa, etc. So we get in the car and say goodnight. We've parked next to each other and walk up into the cars together while saying our goodbyes. When we get into the car, my girlfriend informs me that she wants to stay at the bar, but fake it like we're leaving because she doesn't want to chill with him anymore, understandably. So we're sitting in the car waiting for him to leave first when he signals for us to roll down the window. We do. He says, hey, his GPS is being funny, and can we lead him into the main road? To be fair, we are in the middle of nowhere, so this did not seem too outlandish. So obviously, staying behind at the bar was out. So in the car, we're talking about how pushy he was being, and she admitted she feels weird driving right back to her grandpa's house, so we should drive into town until we lose him. He's behind us for a long time, even way after he should have gone out. On his exit, we think it's weird, but we weren't sure what to do, so finally, we get on a 2-lane road and he pulls up right next to us and he's waving a phone, which is clearly my girlfriend's phone, in the window. We pull over, he gives her phone back, chats for a few seconds, then leaves in a hurry. Here's the part that makes my skin crawl. We know she had her phone. I saw her put it in her fanny pack, which was on the table, along with my phone and her weed. A few minutes before we left the bar, as we were preparing to leave, she didn't take it back out. There is literally no way she could have left it at the bar. More importantly, he got in his car and left the bar at the same time as us, meaning he had to have already had the phone when we were leaving. It's not like we left the bar first and he saw it left on the table or something like that. He literally had to have been walking to the cars with us and calmly said goodnight with the phone already in his pocket, in his possession. Now the kicker, apparently, unbeknownst to me, my girlfriend had tasted a very weird bitter taste in her straw at the bar and was already suspicious, especially from the way that he's been acting. So when he walked up to the car to return her cell phone, she very casually and deliberately flashed a knife that she kept protection in her jacket. So that's why he had to leave so quickly. Obviously, I was annoyed with her for not telling me her suspicions sooner, but she didn't want me to get panicked. I'm really shaken up. A few things are clear. One, he stole my girlfriend's phone, and it seems like he did so that we would be forced to pull on a dark road in the middle of nowhere. Two, he quickly ended the conversation and left when my girlfriend flashed her knife. They've been good friends for almost 10 years now. If he wasn't planning on doing something malicious, I feel he could have acted confused about the knife or said something like, what the hell are you doing with the knife at me? What is this, a bad movie or something like that? But he did not say anything. Instead, he just booked it, which tells me he knew exactly what she was doing, what he was doing, and he was reacting to the whole situation. So was she to a threat and preparing to protect herself and me. And three, he probably spiked our drinks. My girlfriend noticed a weird taste in her straw right away and chose not to finish her drink. I finished half my drink and felt very tired. Now, a few more things. I just don't know how he managed to nab the phone without us knowing or noticing. It really doesn't make any sense to me, but he did. Me and my girlfriend both remember her putting it in her fanny pack perfectly. We also have no idea how he could have spiked our drinks unless he was working with the bartender there. But we were the ones who suggested that bar. I don't know exactly how he did it, but I think I know why. And for that reason, my girlfriend's now ex-friend who made totally creepy sexual comments probably tried to drug us and stole her phone in order to get us alone on a dark road. Let's not meet again. So the guy who drugged me at a party. It all started as a nice evening. My friend had birthday, so she invited my boyfriend and me to her party, which was about an hour away from my boyfriend's home. At the beginning, all was good. We drank and had a lot of fun. I think there was about 30 people there, and I didn't know a lot of them, just a few, but that didn't really bother me so much. At the time, I drank sometimes, not often, but I could drink a bit without losing control. After a bit, a guy named Mika came over and gave a few people vodka from a water pistol. I didn't think anything about it because I've known him for a bit. Me and my boyfriend didn't drink much at all. I think I just drank one glass, and as I said, a bit from that pistol, so I wasn't drunk at all. From then on, I don't remember what happened. The plan for me was to go to my boyfriend's afterwards with him, but we lost each other sometime that evening. We don't know when or how. The next thing I remember was that I walked on the street, I don't know where, but I was, and I cried a lot. Sometime after that, I got into a car. I know it was a smart move because there was 2 people in it, and I sat in the lap of someone in the front. I cried the whole time, and I don't even remember when I got out into the car or where they left me. So I guess it was about 3 a.m. or so in the morning, and I somehow got home. My mom was home, and obviously she thought I was at my boyfriend's. I cried and beat against the door until she opened the door. She was so confused, but I didn't know what happened either. I could not answer her. I tried to call my boyfriend, but I could not reach him at all, as I found out his phone was out of battery. I couldn't find my phone, and my purse was gone too. A bit after that, I went to sleep, and it was the worst night of my life because I just don't know where my boyfriend is and why I'm at home and not with him. The next day, I got my purse back. I left it at the party. I need to say something like that never happened to me before. I'm so cautious, you know? My phone was with my boyfriend, and I learned that he went in the other direction as me and walked around a while that night, but couldn't remember much at all himself. As I said, we didn't drink much, and other people from that party said the same, that they could not remember what happened that night. I always wonder if something happened to me that night because I cried so badly, but I just don't remember. Well, Mika, I'm not sure if it was really you, but I do think so. And if it's true, then please, let's not meet again.